Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Cameron, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking all about what you need to do to make sure that you're ready for your upcoming internship. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Cameron. I am a senior finance major here at the University of Florida. This upcoming summer, I will be starting full-time with KPMG in an advisory role in New York City, and I am so excited. A little bit more about my background. This last summer, I was actually with Regions Bank in a banking role, so completely different than the full-time career I'm going into. But because of that, I think it's kind of given me some exposure to a lot of different areas of interest for my viewers, and can definitely talk a lot about kind of the internship application and nerves and everything that goes along with starting your career in business. I know back this time a year ago, when my internship was just a few months out, I definitely started getting a little bit nervous and anxious about if I was ready or not. So it is my intention of this video to kind of quell some of these concerns for you guys and to just help you guys feel as prepared as possible for this upcoming internship you have. I've written down 5 specific things that I really want you to take away from this video, and if you can remember these things and apply them into these next few months before your internship starts, then I know for a fact you're gonna have a great experience. Now trust me, I was in the exact same shoes as you, feeling stressed, feeling anxious, somewhat of an imposter syndrome, wondering if the classes I had taken, my personal interest had really prepared me for a technical role. And now that I have completed that internship and I've actually got a different full-time job, I can definitely say that the majority of my worries going into my internship were completely unnecessary. And this is what brings me into the first topic that I want to talk about, and that is to not worry too much about the technical skills. So whether your internship is in investment banking, wealth management, software engineering, consulting, whatever it may be, there is always a certain degree of technical skills and experience required to get that internship. I know when I was applying for roles, I always was talking about how much I had used Excel, and honestly that doesn't really set me too far apart. I'm a finance major, everybody is pretty much certified in Excel, but it is natural to kind of hype up your abilities because you do understand how much of a role that plays in your day-to-day responsibilities. I think it's really important to mention that anything that you absolutely need to know for your internship, the company that you're going to be working for will tell you this. It's not that you're going to show up on day one and they'll be expecting you to be able to code this macro or run this model in Excel. The expectations are usually pretty clear for what they expect out of you. And in the case where they haven't been clear, it's always a really good opportunity to reach out to the recruiter or your intern manager ahead of the summer and just to ask them, just in case there is anything that they feel is something you need to master before the internship starts, that gives them the opportunity to tell you. But like I said, for the majority of the times, you will know pretty clearly and early on if there is something that you already need to know. For example, for a lot of software engineering roles, I personally don't know how to code or anything like that, but I have some good friends who are going down that path. I think for them, it would be pretty basic to assume that a foundational knowledge of coding is required for that job. Similar to some finance or banking roles, they kind of expect that you just have a baseline understanding of finance and accounting, just because without those skills, you wouldn't really be able to add too much value right off the jump. But chances are, if you already have the role, then at this point you've made it through interview questions that have tested your technical knowledge, and the company has determined that your technical skills are up to par. So really, I want to emphasize, don't worry too much about the technicals. At least from my experience, the majority of the really technical stuff that I had to do during my internship was learned on the job. So over the course of the 10 weeks, I not only was using a lot of Excel, but Power BI, which is a big data analysis platform. I also learned how to code within VBA, which is kind of coding macros in Excel. And these are all things that I honestly didn't really have any exposure to or experience with prior to my internship. But like I said, this stuff was all learned on the job, and that's kind of the expectation from these companies, that you're going to be learning things on the job, so they don't expect you to come in knowing exactly how to do all of these things. The only thing, if you are going into a finance role or something business related, I think it is important that you at least review some basic key functions and shortcuts in Excel, just because that will make your life so much easier. I know for a lot of us, maybe you took an Excel course a few years ago, so it's a little bit rusty. I think just going through a quick crash course will help you immensely and just boost that confidence going into day one. So I definitely did this before starting my internship, and then also for the first few weeks of my internship, my intern manager allotted me time to work through a crash course through Wall Street Preps or WallStreetOasis, one of those courses for financial modeling. So, not only do they expect you to learn some of those higher technical things on the job, but they also may give you time to either refresh your memory or just get even more ready during the hours of your actual internship. So this is the first piece of advice I can offer you, and that is not to worry too much about the technical side of the internship. The second thing that is extremely important is to stay up to date on market trends and news. So depending on your role, I know there is quite a spectrum of how client-facing or market-facing your role may be. For myself, this last summer, I was working with the treasury of Regions Bank, which at times seemed very niche, but at other times seemed extremely correlated with the overall trends of the market. I think it's extremely important, especially in a finance or banking internship, to really have a good understanding, not just of the current market, but the market over the last few years. So this can be things like inflation, legislature that affects stocks, companies, business in general. And also one of the major things, which is kind of related to inflation, is the federal funds rate. Especially in banking, when you're working with bonds and debt, knowing how large of a role the Fed plays in business is extremely important. And I think that this is a really good way to kind of set yourself apart from other interns. If you have a really clear understanding of what's going on in the market and you can verbalize this to your peers, to your higher ups, it really will kind of allow you to have a major advantage. Now, this is the part of the video where I plug the Morning Brew. I've made a lot of videos about Morning Brew, but I've been reading it every single day for the last 4 years. If you don't know what it is, it's just a daily newsletter that you get straight to your inbox. It takes about 5 minutes to read through. And in those 5 minutes, you get pretty much every single major business headline that you need for the day. Like I said, I've been reading it for the last 4 years and I've learned so much, and I feel way more informed than the average business student, even the average high achiever business student. So I cannot recommend Morning Brew enough. It is 100% free and you can sign up at the link down below in the description. So the third way to prepare for your upcoming internship is to make sure that you know how to interact with people. Now, I know this might seem like a very basic concept, but it is extremely important as far as the actual success of your 10 weeks, 12 weeks in your internship. People will tell you the relationship aspect of business is just important as knowing the numbers and the technical skills. There are millions of quotes about how important your relationships are and your ability to connect with people and things like that. And that is so relevant to your internship because it's pretty much a career condensed into 10 weeks. Having strong emotional intelligence, knowing how to interact with people, how to read how they're feeling, what they're thinking is so helpful in an internship. Also, an internship is kind of like a 10-week interview process for a full-time job. So it is really important that the people that you're working with, whether it's your peers or your higher ups, that they like you. One of my favorite books is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I've read it several times at this point, and I pretty much recommend it to every single person I know. In the book, Mr. Carnegie talks about some methods that you can implement into your own life to make people like you more. These are really interesting things and somewhat eye-opening, but it's really basic things like smiling or saying someone's name more in a conversation when you're talking to them. Things like this really have a positive impact on how other people perceive you, how well they like you. And again, it's just so correlated to an internship where really, the end goal is to get a return offer for a full-time job at the end of the 10 weeks. So like I kind of just said, it's really important to just be a good teammate, try to make those strong friendships, relationships with everybody you interact with, because at the end of the day, the internship will be such a much more enjoyable experience if you have true friends. I can kind of relate to this. In my internship this last summer, it was hard to foster some of these relationships just because we were all remote, so I was not going into the office. But each week we had an intern happy hour for about an hour where all of us interns were able to talk freely with each other, talk about our experiences throughout the week. And through this, I really was able to build some great friendships with some other interns. And I have to say, these friendships were really one of my favorite parts about the internship. And overall, it's just a really cool experience to kind of get to know people from all over the country. And again, this all relates to this overarching topic of knowing how to interact with people. So I cannot recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People enough. Definitely read that book and go into your internship with the mindset of wanting to make as many connections and friendships and relationships as possible. Now on to topic number 4. It is a little bit more straightforward, and that is just making sure that you have proper clothing. So this is one of those topics where what your team is and where you're located really makes a huge difference. For example, if you are working fully remote, the dress code may be different than if you were going into the office in New York City. I know for myself, last summer, I definitely could get away with just wearing a polo and a quarter zip every single day, and that was honestly probably thought of as dressing up at times. And I know in other locations or in other roles, it is expected that you wear a suit and tie to work every day. So it's definitely important that going into the summer, you talk to your intern manager or maybe the recruiter about what the average dress code is for that group, just so you can then kind of plan ahead, because you never want to feel that you're not wearing the right clothing. That will distract from the main objective of the day, of the internship. And honestly, it's just additional stress that you don't want to bring into your life. With this being said, I feel like there's a few purchases that you can make that will allow you to never go wrong. The first thing is just a tailored suit. This is something that will cost you a few $100s, but is definitely a good investment. Maybe you wear it for your internship, maybe not, but it'll definitely always come in handy to have a well-fitted suit that you can wear in interviews, in big capstone presentations, whatever it may be. The importance of a suit is huge. The second thing is just to have plenty of basic button-down dress shirts. I know I have definitely accumulated a lot of just normal white button-down shirts. You really can't go wrong with white and light blue. These are shirts that will look good with suits and also with quarter zips or just wearing them plainly. And of course, you guys know me, I love my quarter zips. I think it just adds a nice touch. Maybe if you're really lucky, your company will hook you up with some Patagonia merch. And finally, obviously shoes are very important. I hope we all are past the Sperry's point, at least for coming into work. Definitely don't wear Sperry's. Veer on the side of wingtips or Oxfords, definitely dress shoes. But obviously this is one of those things that will only really matter if you're going into work, into the office. If you're remote, stick to the Crocs. Don't worry about what is on your feet. So that is the fourth thing, and that is just making sure that you have the proper clothing. This definitely can be a pretty significant financial investment, but like I said at the beginning, it is 100% worth it. And obviously there's plenty of quotes where, you know, look good, feel good, play good. I know for a fact for myself, whenever I'm looking good or that I feel that I'm dressed up and I'm looking professional, it always results in me doing better work. And also this is just a good way for you to feel better about yourself, about your own self-confidence. Like I said before, you kind of want to alleviate as much external stress that you can. There will be plenty of work-related stress that comes up throughout the summer, but something like this that can be fixed with a simple purchase from Joseph A. Bank is a measure that I think is 100% worth it to take. Now, the fifth and final topic that I'm going to be talking about today is the importance of knowing your team and the function that it plays within the overall business. So I know for myself, this last summer with Regions Bank, I was working on the liquidity stress testing team, which was a small team within the treasury group. And in full honesty, I didn't really know too much about the team or the group when I went into the summer. But by the end, I had a really good understanding of exactly what my role on the team was, what that team's role was within the treasury group, and what the treasury group's role was within the overall workings of the bank. Not only was this extremely helpful for myself when I was doing my capstone presentation or talking to my managers at the end of the summer about my experience, but also it was really important when I was applying for other full-time jobs on my own a few weeks later. A recruiter or an interviewer will always want to know and be able to see that you understood what you were doing in your internship. So if you're able to explain the exact function of your team, and especially the role that it plays within the overall functioning of the bank, which is just an insanely complex system, it really will go a long way. So right now, if you're still a few weeks or months out from your internship starting, I definitely recommend you doing more research about the actual team that you will be on. Not only will this help with your expectations of what your summer will look like, but also I found for myself, it helped me understand the actual tasks that I was doing every single day and the way that it played into the overall functioning of the business. So definitely do as much research about the team that you're joining as possible. Maybe talk to some of the people who are currently working on the team, get your expectations in the right place going into the summer, and you will be able to make it a great success. So with all this said, I know I've been rambling for a while now, but these are things that I think would have been so helpful for me going into my summer internship. I know I was stressing about things that I certainly didn't need to stress about, and I hope that I addressed these concerns for you guys in this video today. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram right here at Galbraith. Also, subscribe to The Morning Brew. It's a 5-minute read and you never will regret it. And with all of this being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. I wish you all the best of luck. Peace.